Hello, and welcome to the Dexter Loves Annie podcast. I don't know why I had to think about that then. I don't know. I'm sitting funny because Annie has squeezed in with me, as she does. She's getting old. She sleeps all day. What can I say? Welcome to the madhouse. You don't have to be mad here, but it helps, as my dad used to say. I'm a week late. Sorry about that. Life stuff, getting back into podcasting. It's better for everyone that it's today and not last week. Let's just put it that way. So, it is Thursday, the 27th of February. It is bin day, but last week they didn't come till late last week, so hopefully we're doing all right. It's 10:30 in the morning. Normally I would record a little bit later, but I think we're okay because they used to come in the morning and now they're coming sort of mid to late afternoon. So we should be uninterrupted as far as bin men are concerned. That's not to say that little Annie isn't going to have an opinion about something else, be it a car or a dog walking past or a squirrel farting. Who knows? She does her job very well. She takes it very seriously. So we'll do our best. So this is my craft podcast where I talk about all the things I've been knitting and crocheting and crafting. And it just happens that this week it's just knitting. It's generally just knitting. Often I'll throw another bit of this and that in. I've been sitting here eyeing up my spinning wheel, hoping to get back on that soon. But I've got to find the oil because I haven't used it in about 12 months and it's going to need a good clean and a good oil. Or I could just use it as is and see how we go. I don't know. Anyway, so let's get into the knitting stuff. Before I do, you can find me everywhere as Dexter Loves Annie. Ravelry, Instagram. I've got a TikTok, but I don't really use it. Sometimes I repost funny things, but I don't have. Well, I do have a Facebook group, but I don't really use Facebook. Got to be honest. No. So, where should we start? Well, quite a bit actually. Although I say that and then it'll end up not being much. Let's start with what I was working on this morning. So we're going to go into a whip. So this is a pair of socks. Cuff down. It's very sparkly yarn. I don't know if you can pick up on that. It is a colourway called Beetlejuice and it is by somebody. I've got a lot of yarn bands in here. Felt Fusion. There she is. I knew it was Felt Fusion. I just needed my brain to catch up. This is called Beetlejuice. And it is 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and he's looking at the screen. 5% stellina. It's 4-ply fingering weight and it's 400 meters to 100 grams. So there we go. I've obviously done the cuff in a solid black, and that's one that I've had kicking around for a long time because I just have it for contrasty bits, and that's from Under the Olive Tree. Under the Olive Tree. Sometimes she's Under the Olive Tree Knits. But she's got all of the socials, and if you want the solids from her, that's a pretty good solid. I've not seen any kind of variation in that. So if you want a nice solid, she's your girl. I'm going to be doing those long, like the other ones that I did. And then there's probably going to be enough for a pair of minis after, shorties. And he's just alerted us to the fact that there was a crow flying past. Thanks, honey. So, yeah, that knit sits up by the bed, and I try and do that instead of doom scrolling. Doesn't always work. Did a couple of rounds on those this morning. It really helps if you're doing vanilla. Well, if you're doing any, but particularly for me, vanilla, to do them 2 at a time. Because then there's no messing about. You know, if you're going to finish one, you're going to finish both. So similarly, I am doing. I've not left myself enough. Not enough yarn on this one. This is an old ball of yarn that I decided to just get into and do. Another 2 at a time, cuff down. I tend to do cuff down. I don't really like toe up socks. I haven't quite worked out where the heel is. I've got the formula down quite well to fit me and my husband and my sister and my brother-in-law. I know what I'm doing. I don't want to waste several socks getting it wrong for toe up. And every toe up sock I've made so far have been badly fitted. So there we go. It is a colourway by, I think it was Dye Candy. It's in a plastic bag. Yeah, there we go. Dye Candy. Afflicted is the colourway. I haven't had anything from them from a long time. I just had a mystery. I got a mystery skein from them once, and it was really disappointing. It was nothing like the what do you call it? The inspo picture. It was nothing like it. So kind of stopped getting stuff from them. Oh, and he's making life difficult. So if I have like a variegated yarn, I do prefer a vanilla knit. Oh, excuse me, bit of a cough there. I have my coffee. If you're seeing Instagram this morning, I've had 2 espressos and a ristretto in here. I'm going to get stuff done today, or I'm going to have the shakes, one of the two. So these are mugs that I print myself, and they're available in my shop. Folksy is where the shop is. Oh dear, I need more of this. Folksy is where the shop is, and Dexter Loves Annie. Why deviate? Cheers. Oh, that's good stuff. Next whip. You've seen this a lot. It's taken me years, but we're on the final stretch. Even though I haven't picked it up for a while. This has been an olive by Andrea Mowry. She's on Ravelry's Drea Renee Knits. We're on the final sleeve, although I am going to add a bit of length on here. I stopped too short. So I started this pre-op and got bigger and bigger and bigger, and I had this kind of notion that when the tumours came out, I'd be slim again, because there wasn't a lot of me other than tumours at the time, because I couldn't barely eat. But 6 months of inactivity has kind of affected that situation, and now I have a belly. I'm going to do something about it, but when I can, when I've been signed off for exercise. But it's kind of made me realise I am not going to be the slim, svelte supermodel that I deludedly thought I was going to be. And I'm not sure I want to be, frankly. So, this yarn, I spun it myself. And this yarn was spun back when Dexter was alive. Dexter's my other dog. It's got to be 3 years since we lost him. Whew, yeah, it's been that long. So it's Shetland wool that I spun. What did I do with it? I think I did a woolen spin rather than a worsted spin. I don't remember now. But what I do remember was he was sat next to me the entire time I spun this yarn, and every now and then I'd like stroke him, and there'd be there'd be fur that come off of my hands, so I'd spin that in. So this is gonna be really special when it's finished. Just got bits of Dexy hair in it, and yeah, I'm gonna treasure this. She says, covering the mic. I'm not actually even sure if the mic is working today, so I hope the sound's okay. If I have to re-record all of this, I will be miffed. Oh dear. Never mind, I'm sure it'll be fine. Right, you look after those for me, Annie. I've got another whip. I did show you this last time. I was trying to think if I had or not, but I did show you this. And I said, oh, it'll probably go away because it takes me years to finish a blanket. So I think I'd done 3 rows of this blanket. And I thought I'll put it away for a bit and then get it out again, do a bit more. Well, picking the next colour is a bit like digging through a box of sweeties for your next sweetie. I haven't put it away. So I'm starting my 5th row. It was also really handy for taking away. I've been away a couple of weekends. Talk about that later. But it was handy for taking with me for trips because it's simple knitting. So you saw up to sort of that level. And then I have no idea if this is big enough. Let's see. I can just see. Woohoo! There we go. So the idea, this is being done with my 10-gram mini advent from not last year, year before. So this was somebody. Last year's was Siobhan's Crafts. Actually, it's down here. Let's have a look. Last year was Siobhan's Crafts. The year before was Vicky Brown. I don't know why that was so hard. Anyhow, Vicky Brown Designs, 10-gram minis. It is a mitered square blanket like this one. So I used the pattern which is called The Coziest Memories, and it's by Kemper Ray. It's on Ravelry, it's a free pattern. But I used that for this one. This is in DK. And then when I got this, I was trying to, because I'm sitting there thinking, right, I've got 3 advents now, what am I going to do with them? So I decided with this one, I'm going to do this blanket. So I'm trying to grade. If you see, I've started in the green, and then I've worked some yellow in, and then there's turquoise and teal, and there's a lot of sort of variegated mixes in there. So it's not going to be uniform, or probably won't even make sense. But that is fine. So I'm trying to work down to blues, and then discovered that, see, that's the teal. That wasn't in the advent, that's a separate one. All of these are in her advent apart from that teal. No, they're not actually. Some of them are just bits I had left over that sort of fit in. So this one, this is an Etsy seller. I actually bought them for the Battenberg blanket, but just didn't really appreciate how much yarn you get in a 20-gram skein when you're only using a scrap. Each triangle uses just over 2 grams, so a 10-gram mini will do 4 and a bit. So yeah, there's other bits worked in, I'm just kind of keeping it vaguely on theme. So there is a bit of green in all of the variegated, but you know, they could be incorporated into other areas of the blanket. But yeah, the plan is to sort of work down to a blue. This one's that's more of a turquoise and teal, but we're getting there. There's some baby blue in it. But then discovered that there's really no blue in that advent. So I have ordered a couple of blue 10-gram minis, and then there was a purpley one that I like, so that's got thrown in as well. On Etsy, that hasn't come yet. I think I ordered it on Monday, so it should be here any day. Coastal Creatives, I think, on Etsy. So yeah, that should be here any day soon. So basically what I'm doing, because I was asked yesterday about the pattern, and there isn't a pattern. So stabbed myself with a needle there. What's happening is it starts off as, you know, a long bit, and you're decreasing in the middle to make it come together. So you've just got to make sure that you twist the yarns in the middle. I'm doing quite a good job of that at the moment anyway. So let's say you're coming along with your white. This will be at the front, it's just the way that it is. And then as you get to where the white knitting ends and the blue knitting starts, you flip that over so that you've got the two yarns on the same side. I'm trying to do it so that you can actually see. There you go. And then you'd put that over there and then start working with the blue. So you will have like a twist in the middle, and that works out pretty well. Here's the back. That's what that looks like across the back. Quite neat. If you forget to twist them, you get a hole. So I have had to work back a couple of times just to cover up a hole. It is fine. It's not very many stitches at all. So that's how that's done. I am doing it, it's 4-ply, and I'm doing it on, oh, the numbers come off these, 3 mil. I also treated myself to a Mindful cable. These are shorties. These are Knit Pro Zings. And the Mindful cable is so that you can twist. Don't like them. Honest review. Very tempted to send them back. Where you've got this here, because it's got to be free for the needle to turn on the cable. There's kind of a ridge, and it's hard to push your stitches over sometimes. On a larger garment, that would be a no. That would be a definite no. You can push all your stitches up and align them before starting on your next row on a small amount of stitches like that. So it's all right for that. But yeah, fairly tempted to send that back, to be honest. Not for me. Anyway. So I would have some acquisitions to show you, but they're not here yet. So you'll have to wait till next time. I did buy some West Yorkshire spinners because that is the white that I'm using. This is Wool Warehouse. Signature 4-ply. Let's get one out. West Yorkshire spinners, Signature 4-ply. In the milk bottle colourway. And I bought a red and a teal just because you've got to make it worthwhile, haven't you? Otherwise I could have just gone down to Hobbycraft, but they wouldn't have it. There's no point in me going down to my Hobbycraft, because even though they do stock West Yorkshire spinners, there's every chance that they would not have what I want. So last but not least, on the whips, I joined Kelly's sock make along, and she picks a sock pattern of hers every 2 months, and it's on a she reduces the pattern, and the pattern is called this one we are doing. It printed in black and white, so you can't really see the colours, but that's fine. It's called Dusting of Frost, and it's just a little make along to make sure I finish them. I've been wanting to do these for a while because they're really pretty. And then all the other gang, not all the other gang, but people in the gang all ordered the same yarn. I thought that's really fun to have the same socks, as I know Mary Ruth, you're doing some in the United States, and I thought it'd be really cute. We could all have, we could all have the same socks. Doesn't take much to please me, does it? So we all bought the same yarn. The yarn is by Amanda at Little Icac, and it's sparkly yarn. We all know I'm a sucker for the sparkly yarn. Now let's see if you can see the sparkle in that first. Yeah, you can. So you get a 20-gram mini for your contrasts, and then this beautiful sparkly yarn, and this is the pattern. Didn't find it too onerous at all. I think some people, Kelly, there isn't just some people. She said she felt she had to concentrate. I think that was this one she said it on. And yeah, you do have to pay a bit of attention. But once you've done a little bit, you can kind of, you know, the row before will tell you where you're at. So I've got into a pickle with that needle. That can go over there now. So this is the yarn all caked up on my electric cakerer, and then this I cake by hand on my Nospin because it wasn't worth getting the cables out and stuff for that, so I just did it by hand. If you have not heard of a Monostopen, it is this bad boy. So it's got a little notch here, so you wind the yarn around a little bit and then have the tail hanging down, and then you just wind, turn it and wind, and that's really handy for 10-20 gram skeins of yarn. And I just put the skein around my neck and just kind of work it around as I'm going. So there, wow, that's quite a lot. 1 extra week and she's done extra. To be fair, I have been away both weekends and done, well, I shouldn't do that much knitting with family both times. Anyway, whatevs. I did some stuff. So I've got 2 whips. I should have 3, but one's been given out already. But I test knit for Kelly for her Athenaeum hat. She signed me up to do the kiddie size, the size 1, because she knows I've got a little nephew. And I have, and I did it, and I gave it to him, and he loves it. He wanted to sleep in it the day that I gave him. So I'll put a picture up somewhere. He loved it. So then I did one for me. I've got a scarf in this. I'm going to really mess my hair up, aren't I? I've got a scarf in this colour, and I really wanted a hat to match, so I can look as sort of vaguely coordinated, because most of my hats are pinks and purples. So I did an extra row of this But this pattern is 10 rows 98 because I thought, oh, it's going to be ridiculous. And then as it turns out, it's not. My ponytail's making it too high. Odd shaped head alert. And it's pulled. I don't really like the stripy pulling. Anyway, right, let's not do that. So that's for me. I do love it. It covers my ears enough. But if it's really, really cold, I like a hat right down to there. So maybe I'll have to do patterned ear flaps or something. But it's really, because the scarf's really thin, so that's not going to come up to match it. But anyway, it's cool. I love it. Worked out really well. I did get gauge, so I know that when I knit Kelly's patterns, because I've done so many of them, if I size down a needle, I'll get gauge. What I didn't take into account was when you go to the smaller needles, they go down by 0.25, not 0.5. So the initial test that I did was definitely not on gauge. And when you commit to doing a test knit, you do it properly. So I did another one because I do have another little fella in my life. My goddaughter's had a baby. He's 6 months old now. So I did it in purple. I should say this yarn was dyed by somebody who's not in business anymore. Jelly Bean Knits, I think she was called. So you can't get this anymore. But I'm sure plenty of people will be doing that kind of colour. This was another Valley Yarns Huntingdon. Using up my stash. So this is size 1. And I did get gauge. Now that I've blocked it. It took me a while to block it. But yes, my little Luke-bee. I am great aunt. But I have demanded that I will be awesome aunt, not great aunt. Because I am not great. I'm awesome. So my little Luke-bee. That's for him. Pattern's really well written. She's going to add in instructions to add another line of patterning. I think it is, you don't really need instructions, it's just the suggestion. But if you like a long hat, I would do it. I think it would probably have come to there. If not, which is perfectly acceptable, but I like my ears covered, especially as I've had quite a lot of ear infections. I say a lot too, but they're not fun, and don't want another one. So yeah, definitely I would do an extra row of pattern again. So that is it on the knitting and everything. So if you're only here for that bit, thank you for listening, and I'll see you on the next one. I am going to be bringing out the review on the electric winder at some point. It's all there. I've just got to sit and edit and whatnot. I'm using it pretty well now. I've got the hang of what works and what doesn't work for me, so I will bring that out soon. Life stuff. So I did go camping, as I said I was going to. We have a converted transit van. So not very tall, can't stand up in it. Should have thought about that. Not good for my back. I mean, it was great when I was younger, but now that the back issues are creeping in. Anyway, I kind of crawl around on my knees if I've got to do anything like, you know, packing up the cupboards and stuff. So yeah, we've got a converted transit van. It is literally a bed, cupboard and a portaloo. And the portaloo isn't used all that often because we go to places that are serviced. So we try and use their bathrooms as much as possible. I did have lighting in it, but there's something going on with transit batteries in that if you attach a leisure battery to it, somehow it drains. The leisure battery drains the starter battery, and I'm just not about that anymore. I don't necessarily need lights in the ceiling. I've got a couple of rechargeable long lighting strips. They're USB chargeable. We always take electric hookup. So that they'll do. You know, once we go to bed, we're in bed. We don't need lights particularly. And there's always a light or two on a campsite, so there's always something creeping in to just give you an idea. It's not far to go. You're in a tiny little tin can. So yeah, we went away with family that first weekend. February the 14th was the anniversary of Dad dying. So I was together with my uncle and auntie, and my sister popped over for the day. And yeah, it was nice. It rained, it was cold, I got horribly ill. But yeah, it was nice to get out. Camping in February is not for the faint-hearted. And yeah, expect to get poorly. Just ridiculous plan, but it was good. I tried out, I've got a camera to put in the dashboard to try and record some of our trips. And I filled the memory card. I haven't looked at any of it yet. I am, if anyone's interested, I am gonna maybe start up a what do you call it? Another channel just for our adventures. I don't expect it to be massively popular because we're quiet people. We knit, and we knit. I knit. He likes to sit and read and whatnot, and walks, and we don't particularly like pubs. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. That might just be there for, you know, us really, but I'll get the footage and sort that out one day. And then this weekend just gone, I went up to my uncle, who's a trained mechanic, old school trained at the factory, you know, apprenticed at the factory. I have trust issues when it comes to service and MOT because I've been messed about and let down quite a lot in the past. Things have gone wrong. Things have been dangerous when they've, you know, been left. And so I have my uncle do it, and I drive. It's a 2-hour plus drive to get to him. And because I am still only 6 months post-op, Friday is 6 months. Mad. My driving stamina isn't quite there, so we go up. Plus he wants it for 8 o'clock in the morning so that he can start early. So we went up on a Sunday, left the van with him, went and stayed in a hotel, dog friendly, and he came too. And he was free to do what he needed to do then. And then we just came home Monday afternoon. Took 4 hours to get home because of there was an accident on the motorway, and then there was roadworks, and like my entire area is just roadworks after roadworks these days. So yeah, it took me 4 hours. So I would say my driving stamina's back with a bang. And then, so yeah, tiring. And then I had physio this week. So because we're like 6 months out, it's kind of happening once every month, every 4 weeks now, instead of every week, because my abdominal muscles separated. So I'm trying to work hard to get those back together. And I'm also doing clinical Pilates now as well to try and get some flexibility and, you know, strength back. And I had a really positive physio session because she assessed me, she assessed the pelvic floor, and I can officially go back to running, which is awesome. And I can use the gym. I can't go back to pole and aerial just yet because my abdominals are still a few inches apart. So that'll come, but not yet. It can take 2 years. So I have an appointment at the gym tomorrow. I haven't been to the gym in a lifetime. But I'm really excited. I'm really excited to be getting my body and my life back. And I don't know why, but he gave me a discount over the phone. Not that I've paid yet, but you know, I'm gonna get, and he's off. I'm gonna get a discount on a rolling contract, because she's drinking. If you hear water, I'm not weeing myself. Once I start back at pole and aerial, probably not going to do as much gym. I think I would keep the Pilates up, and do pole and aerial and drop the gym. Can't spend all my life exercising, much as I'd love to. There's some knitting to be done. Excuse me, hiccup. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm going to meet him, and he's going to get a trainer involved so that I can get some inductions on the machines. So I would be working upper body and lower body, and leaving the ab stuff for my physiotherapy regime. But yeah, I'm excited. So it's all looking up as of this week, and little Miss Annie would like to go out for a wee. So this is where I stop, and I wish you all a good fortnight. Yeah, and good happy fortnight from Annie. Yes, she's going to start yapping at me now. So thank you for watching. We appreciate you. Annie appreciates you. Yep. And I'll see you soon.